more empathy for them. And it just really changed the way that I view people I started to see inside of people, not the outside as much, and really understanding and being able to put myself in people's shoes a lot more. And so that empathy, I think, has really guided me as a leader. I think it helps me with my team a lot. I love that even though my team has grown to about 20 people and they have their own managers, that they'll still call and text me and tell me what's going on, and so to be able to have that trust of my teammates really means a lot to me. And so, the best thing for you to do is to set these values. And what I advise people to do is when you're thinking about what your core values are, think about the things that you do after everybody's gone to sleep. Like, what are you still doing? What are you still looking up? What are you still gaming? What are you researching? What breaks your heart? You think about those things that what has really shaped you into who you are. And when you really define those core values, you really can feel what they are. And it makes your ability to make decisions so much easier.
Welcome to the Growing with Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Jean Moncrieff, and we're going behind the scenes with very special leaders, learning about what shaped them into who they are in life and in business.
Okay, so my guest today is Adria Marshall. She's the owner of EcoSlay. They're a plant-powered hair care company rooted in sustainability, community, and empowerment. And you're also an accidental entrepreneur. So, Adria, welcome to the show. I'm super excited to talk to you today. Why don't you give us a little bit of your background and then we'll take it from there.
So it's so great. So thank you for having me, first of all. So my name is Adria Marshall. I'm a wife, a mother of three, a gardener here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I have curly hair. And I found out that I had curly hair when I was in college, because up until then my hair was relaxed, because that's what you do when you were in Alabama in the 80s and 90s. Your parents just threw a relaxer on your hair because they weren't quite sure what to do. When I was in college, I wasn't able to keep up with those touch-ups. And that's when I saw that I actually had curls under there. And I am an engineer by trade. And what we engineers do is we love to solve problems. And so it became another problem that I wanted to solve. And so that's where my journey and my love affair with my curls began. Also, you should know, John, that I'm a gardener. My mother was a gardener. My grandparents on both sides were gardeners also. So I grew up with that love of really great ingredients, passion for sustainability. And so when I was out and about trying to find products for my hair, not only was it obvious that at that time especially, hair products really weren't made for my hair type. Either they were made for white people with curly hair,
Yeah.
or black people with like relaxed hair or afros, but not black people with curly hair. So there was definitely a gap in the market there. And but I was still like relentless to find on this relentless quest to find products that work for my hair. And when I would accidentally stumble upon something that would kind of work, the ingredients were just awful. And so I immediately noticed, like, there's no way I want to put this on my body, because I knew that the scalp is permeable. So there's no way I want this going to my bloodstream. And then not only, like, these products weren't really great anyways, and they're expensive. So that was really discouraging, but a bright spot happened. This is a journey of years.
Yeah.
A bright spot happened when I would find some products that I kind of liked that weren't perfect, but they were getting there. And then I saw that the common factors were plant-based ingredients like aloe vera, horsetail, marshmallow root. And that was encouraging, number one, because these were ingredients that I had a lot of respect for. And I'm thinking I could eventually grow these things. But like for right now, I can go to my farmer's market and get them at a fraction of the cost, and then maybe kind of tailor products that would work for me. Because I would find products that almost had enough hold, right? Almost had enough curl definition. And so because I am an engineer, I began to find out, well, it's the aloe vera that's giving the moisture. It's the pectin that's giving the hold. And so I kind of figured that out. So right then, around that time, YouTube was just becoming a thing. And there were a lot of videos on how to make things. And so I would go home from work. I made project manager by trade. So, I started off as a software developer, became a project manager. So, would come home from work, fix dinner for the kids, whatever, the husband, and then start making products and testing them out, that sort of thing. So, like I said, journey of years,
Yeah.
and not really thinking about creating a hair product company, just really wanted to find products that work for my own hair. Like that was the mission at the time. And throughout all this time, as I'm on YouTube, doing all this research on things, a nice little community of like-minded people trying to find products for our curly hair was forming. And so I
Okay.
developed some relationships in the comments. So as I finally, throughout the years, created this product that I love, and it's going to all make sense later. So because I was a developer turned project manager, I don't know if you know many software developers, but like we live, eat, and breathe code. And so
Yeah.
when I made that decision to become a project manager, I was still coding on the side. And so that's
Okay.
why I had a store up. As I was coaching my team on their own software applications, and kind of testing things out on the side, because developers will lie and tell you that something will take 2 weeks to code when it really only takes
I know
3 days.
that.
So I'm kind of like cross checking them with my own store.
Yeah.
So when I created this product, I popped it up on my store. That's how this started. And I had a store because like in the back of my head is like, well, maybe one day if. But when I put this product on my store, the person I had met on the YouTube comments sent her a product to review for me just to check out, and didn't hear anything back from her. Like, we had very similar hair types. I think you will love this. I think I cracked the code. Didn't hear anything back until orders started flying in. And that's
So,
how it actually happened.
so at this time, if I recall correctly, you're working for MailChimp still,
Yes.
and you're on a winter break.
Yes.
And as you said, you just put the website up and you go from 0 to 1,000 sales
In
or
15 days.
orders in 15 days, which is
Correct.
phenomenal.
Terrifying.
So wait,
Terrifying.
what's happening when you get to see these orders trickling in? What are you thinking?
It's so fun. I went through all the stages of emotions, like very, very
Yeah.
quick. At first, it's like, well, like because with Shopify, you can have a notification when you get an order. At that time, like I said, I had my site up. I was like maybe getting 7 orders a month. With like little oils and things I was making. So definitely nothing to write home about. So it was very rare when
So
I
you
was
had this little side hustle going already. You've
a little side hustle, mostly just to find my group of people. Like
got
I
it.
said,
Okay.
cross checking my dev team, that sort of thing. Like in the back of my head, maybe one day if. Definitely not thinking that one day if would turn out to be like in 15, 30 days. So when all of a sudden I'm on break and I start hear dings, ding, 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 orders flying in. This is what happens. And
I mean, most founders absolutely wish for this, to be able to put something online without doing much of the phone going ding, 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 ding.
I was not ready because at that time I'm making products like in my kitchen in a little
Yeah.
pot, and so to get this flood of orders in was crazy. And so I try to keep up with, they're coming in 50 a day, 80 a day, and I just can't keep up with it. I'm trying my best. It was very exciting at first.
Yeah.
But then it becomes like really terrifying, like what I'm going to do. I knew nothing about buying ingredients in bulk, like none of these things. So I'm running down to Target and Whole Foods to pick up things. I mean, it was just in my farmer's market, boiling. I mean, it was just insane. It was a lot of fun, very exciting, to see, because they're talking, because as I'm shipping products out,
Yeah.
they're tagging me on social, telling me how much they love the product. So that's exciting, but still it's like I have all these orders to fill. So
And you've got the snowball effect going, I imagine, with folks targeting you, telling you, and giving you reviews. Okay.
it was
So
insane.
what's happening? You're still at MailChimp.
Yeah.
This business is taking off. At what point do you decide, I mean, this is going to become something that I'm doing full time, that this is, as we said, an accidental entrepreneur just kind of falling into this?
So I was a project manager, and I still consider myself to be a project manager. I think if you're a CEO, that's what you basically are, as a project manager. So a project manager, we live and die by graphs. So I
Yeah.
was able to look at the trend of orders coming in and thinking, well, if they keep coming in at this rate, here's what's going to happen. And so when I went back to work on January 3rd, I told my boss at the time, I showed him the graph, right? If this keeps happening, I'm gonna quit around March. And sure enough, in March, and they're great. Like, I love MailChimp still. The guys there are amazing, very supportive. So they allowed me to go part-time in March, because by then I had more work on the EcoSlay side, but didn't have as much money on the EcoSlay side, right? So I had to do those things to kind of balance out. But they were fantastic. So they let me go part-time in March so I could focus more time on EcoSlay. And they just kind of pared down my hours. And so as the revenue climbed on the EcoSlay side, we would drop my hours on the MailChimp side until we were able to kind of meet in the middle there. So it was a pretty seamless transition. I think I went maybe a couple of months where the salary wasn't matching, but it wasn't
Yeah.
terrible.
Wow. So they really supported you through
The
this
entire
transition, which is
Yeah, it
brilliant.
was a tremendous blessing.
Phenomenal. Well, I mean, what about so growing up, you go to college and you find that mom has been sort of looking after your hair for all of your young life. You get to college and you've now, what happens? Do you figure out, okay, I've got to come up with something myself to look after my hair, and then ultimately you'll end up sort of cooking your own stuff. But
Right.
what's going on there? Did
I mean,
did you start cooking or making your own product fairly quickly, or?
no, 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 no. And so like when I discovered these curls in college, and it's a journey, right? So you would
Yeah.
try products for a few months, they don't work, your hair's looking a mess, you're in college, you want to look your best. So
Yes.
then you're like, okay, let me just go buy a relaxer off the shelf and get your hair straight again. And then 4 to 6 weeks, the curls start popping out again. And so like it becomes this journey of trying stuff. It doesn't work, you fall back, you give up,
But you're
because
using sort of off the shelf stuff at the moment. You haven't got as far as
exactly.
trying stuff out, because you said at the beginning you're a gardener. You're multiple generations in your family are gardeners, and you have this deep love for plants.
Yes, exactly. So I'm actually going to Ulta, Sephora, Target, Walmart, Sally's, like every day, finding products that I think are going to help me tame these curls,
Okay.
So that's what that journey was. Like maybe the first 3 or 4 years, trying to find products that worked, they're not working, going back to the relaxer.
Yeah.
Trying to find products that work, they're not working,
Go
going back
back.
to the answer. And then eventually is trying to find products that work, spending all this money, right, that I don't have. And then one day flipping around the jar and seeing all this crap in it, like, oh my goodness,
Mhm.
like not only are we not finding not only are we on um this rat trail, whatever, of this hamster wheel of trying to find products and failing, but these products that you're trying are not good for you.
Yeah.
On top of that, like on top of it being expensive, on top of them not working, we're pretty sure they're toxic.
The ingredients in them are just not good to be putting in your hair.
Exactly. So that's what it just kind of
Okay.
hit. Like, okay, this is just really not working.
And at what point did you start sort of testing ideas yourself in the kitchen? Was this when you picked up those bottles and started reading, thinking, okay, this stuff's
Exactly.
just not good for me. What I'm going to do is have a look at what communities on YouTube are talking about. You start to find natural products, and you think, well, I can grow this stuff myself.
Exactly.
And then, as you said, you basically are testing on yourself, saying, okay, let's cook up something with a bit of aloe vera and a bit of, I can't remember the other other things that went in, but test until you found.
Exactly. So I find something that actually works. I'm not a chemist.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm doing, but I was very motivated to having the best looking hair possible with the best ingredients.
Got it. And then you get to the point where the product's essentially flying off the shelves, and you start looking for somebody to partner with who's going to manufacture the product with you, but they want to change the ingredients. Tell us a little bit about what happened there.
That was awful, but things happen for a reason. So this was around the time where I needed to go back to work. And I realized there's no way I can keep up with these orders that are coming in, because it's me. I think at the point I had enlisted my daughter, maybe my mother-in-law at the time, to help me make these products. Like, it's just not working. And I'm enjoying making them myself, but like, there's no way I can scale like this. So I look up some factories, look up some manufacturers to see if they can help me out. And it was several of them. And I had meetings with them, sent them the formulas. And they're like, okay, yeah, we have some flaxseed extract like over here on the shelf. Like, at the time, and still, I'm getting my flaxseed from the farmer's market. I'm bringing it home. I'm boiling it and straining it. Like, it's flaxseed in there. And a lot of people don't know, but the FDA doesn't regulate the cosmetic industry like they do the food industry, the pharmaceutical industry, a lot of other industries. And so you can say whatever you want to say is inside of something, but you really don't know. And that was part of the concern there. Was, okay, like, it's like, my customers are in love with my products. Are we going to have the same product if you're making it? Because it wasn't just that ingredient. It was the preservative they wanted to change. They didn't want to boil and strain my marshmallow root either. And so at the end, when I'm looking at because there's only a few ingredients in my formula, and they had changed like everything except for water almost.
Yeah.
So when I look at the formula, like, this is not even the same formula anymore. There's no way. And I have found my group of people that have the same passion for things that I wanted. So it was more than just the products. It's the philosophy, the brand behind the brand that I wanted to stay true to. So that's when we just doubled down. Like, we'll just keep making it ourselves.
And you, at that point, you enlist your family,
Yes.
and I guess more of the family, I suppose. So have you gone back to working part-time again to sort of bring in cash flow? And then
I was working full-time at that point.
Okay.
I was still working full-time, and then getting up early, making products, going to bed. We would go to the post. I knew the schedule of every post office in my area.
Wow.
And I would hit all of them. Like on Saturday. I knew like all the times. And that went on for a year either, because it took us a while to really get caught up. Even after I hired people, even if I went part-time, we would have to go in the middle of the day and drop off packages to various post offices that were open. But anyhow, I was going to the post office. I was working a full-time job, going to the post office at 2 a.m. Every day to drop off packages. It was insane.
Wow. And since then, you've grown to what, I'm trying to remember this, about 19, 20 odd people.
Yeah, now we are out. Fast forward, it's been 8 years now, which is crazy.
Wow.
So fast forward 8 years, we busted out of 3 locations now. We actually closed on our first permanent location in April, which is amazing.
Which I believe's got farming area behind it or something like that.
A farm area behind it. And so we've progressed from buying our ingredients from the farmer's market to actually partnering with Georgia farmers here that grow the ingredients for our products, and we'll be able to help them out. And because I love to farm, so any excuse to get back there also. So being able to farm as well on our own property is going to be amazing. And that offer our customers in the local Atlanta area the ability to come by the farm, to actually see the ingredients that end up in their products is going to be remarkable.
So it's a whole kind of experience.
The whole experience. And just imagine, I imagine this, John. I imagine our customers being able to actually pick the ingredients.
I was wondering about that, right?
Yeah. And just giving them that full experience will be amazing.
Well, what's been some of the toughest things for you along this journey as you've built this business? When you look back over the last 8 years?
even this, you know, being an entrepreneur is not for wimps. I will say that. Nor is it for a Virgo. I'm a Virgo, and
Okay.
or a project manager, because as a Virgo project manager, you have the grandest of plans that never execute properly, and so you quickly learn to change your definition of failure, because if not, it'll be a mental health nightmare, as you can't
Yeah.
just be a failure all the time, but like according to the plan, you're a failure all the time. And so you really have to learn to make your goals kind of loose and really lean into your values and your vision, and accept that the journey is winding and that you will get
Yeah.
there. And you have to embrace everything. I'm preaching to myself right now because we're always going through something. You have to embrace everything that doesn't go according to plan as a lesson that you can learn from.
I love that. So
And
true. Yeah.
if I can add too, like even things turn out, they always do work out better than you plan for them to. It may take a while, but even looking back at the ordeal with the factories who wanted to Frankenstein my formula, now we actually have a program called the EcoBeta program, where we offer formulation guidance and processes and manufacturing and logistics for other brands who are going through that same chaos. And so we'll make a small batch for them. We help them through the entire process, helping them through their formulation, their manufacturing needs, walking them step by step using great ingredients and sustainable practices. So basically, the exact program that we wish we would have been able to find 8 years ago, we're now offering for people, which is incredible.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, do you, I guess, as you build that, when we step back, the ups and downs that you go through as an entrepreneur, I mean, we talk about how difficult that is.
Yeah.
How's your sense of purpose for this business and your vision for the business kind of played into those ups and downs that you've had to endure?
Yeah, it's like what I lean on so much, because I learned when I was in it was I think I this was a lesson in MailChimp, that I can define a conversion however I want to define a conversion. And so you can
Yeah.
define a conversion as a sale. You can also define a conversion as a click on your email if you want to. You can define a conversion as an impression on your social page, as a like, whatever, whatever. Or I can define a conversion as a pouch that is recycled, a team member that volunteered an hour. And so I learned that on my monthly report, that not only do I track my revenue on wholesale, retail, and Amazon, my ad performance rate, my social media performance, I also track how many pouches did we recycle, how many products were we able to donate to a women's shelter, how many volunteer hours did we give, where did we volunteer, how much money did we donate. And when you're able to look at all those metrics side by side, you may have a crappy month on the revenue side, on the ads metric side, but look how many people you helped, you know? And so it's all about not making yourself a failure, John. It's all like these
He,
life hacks on being able to go to bed a winner every night, because the best thing that I can offer my team is excitement, energy, motivation, and passion. And it's hard to have that when all the metrics are outside of your control. But there are some metrics that you can control. So that is my life hack for the entrepreneur.
I love that. I mean, basically, we all, as you said, have these dashboards that we look at, and everything on those dashboards is about kind of how much revenue generating and profit and conversions around if mails opened or
Yeah.
sales done or whatever. But you're actually looking at the social impact part of that. How many or how much you've contributed to helping women, women's causes, how much you've given back to the community.
Yeah.
And that's like, that really connects back to purpose, vision, and I guess values. It helps everybody who's working in the business to see that connection back, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. That is the goal. It's not always easy because you have to pay the bills,
yeah,
but it's really important, and we do try to be as focused on that as possible.
and that's one of your core values, right? Be kind to others.
Yes.
Um, I mean, the other ones were around using natural ingredients, I think, and
Mhm.
respecting the
The environment.
environment. And
Hmm.
then fourth one was about
Education.
education. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
so important. Because we find out that a lot, and I'll tell customers a lot of times, like it's not the product that's the problem, it's how you're using the product that's the problem. So we offer a lot of education on how to use products properly, on the right ingredients for your hair type, on understanding what ingredients do. Like on if you look on our product description pages, there's a link for each product that links out to a page that explains why we chose that ingredient, why it's inside of the product, really giving good information to the customer so that they can really understand what this ingredient will do. Because there's a lot of
do.
misinformation about some ingredients as well. So just trying to educate the consumer as much as possible.
Yeah. And how did you how did you uncover those values? Are those something that go back to you personally, or did you work on that with your team? Where did those values come from? Education and teaching, and I'm guessing is respect from the environment is rooted in the fact that multiple generations are gardeners. But how did you find those values, or were they
Yeah,
just there?
they're all personal values. So they're all
Yeah,
personal values. And so the benefit of being an accidental entrepreneur is that when I don't know what I was doing. And so I just poured my personal values into the company. And I think that's why it was so hard to compromise on those values when the factories were trying to change things.
mm,
These weren't just some things that I made up so this business can take off. These are values that are dear to me. And so I'm not just going to be so quick to say, oh, yeah, I no longer believe in sustainability. I no longer believe in the integrity of ingredients. Like these are things that
yeah.
I really hold dear.
So when that decision came, do we just sort of sacrifice a couple of ingredients and go with the factory because life's going to be a bit easier?
There you go.
Your values guided that decision, and that
Yes.
value of using ingredients that are good for you was,
Yes.
well, if we go that route, we're not being true to our values, right? And that's
And
so
that's
important.
so important. And so that's why when I'm mentoring other entrepreneurs, I tell you, I have a hard time when an entrepreneur comes to me for me to help them and they just want to sell, sell, sell. And I ask them what their purpose is, and it's to make money. Have you defined your value? No. I turn down a lot of customers that way because I know because it's so hard to make money. I mean, and
Yeah,
if your driving factor is just to make money, then the odds of you being a success are so slim immediately, and you're going to burn yourself out. And so, like, the best thing for you to do is to set these values. And what I advise people to do is when you're thinking about what your core values are, think about the things that you do after everybody's gone to sleep. Like what are you still doing? What are you still looking up? What are you still gaming? What are you researching? What breaks your heart? You think about those things that like what has really shaped you into who you are. And when you really define those core values, you really can feel what they are, and it makes your ability to make decisions so much easier. You don't have to nickel and dime and go back and forth. When you come across something that doesn't resonate with who you are, you only have like 3 or 4 values. Like, don't make it overkill.
yeah, I
You
agree with you.
know,
Just keep it simple.
keep it simple, and then you can move with a lot more peace that way. It's what I find.
Yeah, I mean, something you said earlier really resonated with me when we were talking about values, and I think you talked about sort of having integrity in the decision making process and how you make that decision. And so often we see values like integrity, but it's actually how you use those values where
Yeah.
the integrity comes from. Are you staying true to your values?
Correct.
And almost the output is
Yes.
the integrity,
Exactly.
right? It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. It's a little backwards there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and So do you work with entrepreneurs as well then
Yes.
to help? So what kind of work are you doing with them?
Yeah. So, and it's often part of the EcoBeta program where we're helping them
Okay.
with their formulation and their manufacturing. But there are some other entrepreneurs that just reach out for mentorship. Maybe they're making their own product, but they just want guidance on how to set their values or trying to work through problems or just need like a sounding board because it is lonely being an entrepreneur. Like no one really understands the journey of an entrepreneur other than another entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So just being that person that they can bounce ideas off of, offer guidance to, listen to their problems, offer a different point of view or perspective, I think is really helpful.
And that's your EcoBeta program. So that was, I guess, what I was when you mentioned working with entrepreneurs and you mentioned the EcoBeta program and the experience that you'd had with factories.
Yeah.
You're now working with those entrepreneurs to help them to navigate those challenges in the production
Yes.
of their products, but they have similar values to you, where they're thinking about using ingredients that are really good for you, respecting their environment, being kind to one another. Okay, got it.
Right. Absolutely. And they don't have to line up with every single value that we have, but they cannot be in conflict with too many of them or there won't be a good fit.
Yeah.
And we just won't work well together,
Yeah.
So we've had to turn away some clients as well. Like it's going to be a nightmare because the things that we're going to recommend, it's not going to be good for either one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's something that's really shaped you as a leader, either in your younger years or over the years as you've grown up?
I think it's so funny. So we have a nonprofit organization called the EcoSlay Foundation, and our mission is to make a dent in the unhoused community here in the Atlanta area. And what really shaped me a lot after I graduated and had an amazing job as a software developer, making a ton of money. This was 2008, and my company was in the financial industry. So I was laid off after 8 years or so, but it was cool because I got that job I think I got that job in like 2 days. So I was really spoiled and used to being able to pick up opportunities very, very quickly. And so when I received my very large severance package, I spent it immediately. I paid off all the bills, paid off my car, all the things, right? And I was like, okay, let's look at the job. Like, this is what we do. And I wasn't able to find one. And it took months and months and months. And I found myself on the brink of homelessness. And that was insane because I grew up in a fantastic family. I went to an amazing college. I had a great job. I live in a very great city, town in the Atlanta area. And so you just think that if this can happen to me, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And so I think that caused me to look at the unhoused community in a different way, having a lot more empathy for them. And it just really changed the way that I view people I started to see inside of people, not the outside as much, and really understanding and being able to put myself in people's shoes a lot more. And so that empathy, I think, has really guided me as a leader. I think it helps me with my team a lot. I love that even though my team has grown to about 20 people and they have their own managers, that they'll still call and text me and tell me what's going on, and so to be able to have that trust of my teammates really means a lot to me.
Yeah, I think that's, everybody has something that they're going through in their lives, and to be able to have that empathy, to see different perspectives, to see what people are going through, to treat everybody as human is almost a rare thing these days. And it's just, it's beautiful that you've got that. I was interested in what you were saying about having a team. And have you consciously built a leadership team? I mean, I think one of the biggest barriers to growth in most businesses is that we as the owner, end up being at the center of everything. But it sounds like you've put a team in place and you've built a team.
I have. I think one thing that makes our company different, or makes me different as a leader, is that I do not hoard the money. Like when I get more money, like let's find somebody who can do something better than I am doing. Like I am not a marketer. Let me find a marketing manager.
Yeah.
I don't want to ship all the time. Let me find a shipping manager. So I definitely try to. I'm constantly trying to work my way, and that's what I was taught at MailChimp and in my other jobs. Like you work your way out of a job. Like, there's something bigger for you. I don't need to hold on to these things. I need to lean into things that I'm good at, and I'm not good at marketing. I'm making more. Like
Yeah.
all these reships are because of me. I cannot read the shipping labels for some. Like this is not my gift. And so being able to have that self-awareness, and I had a mentor at one time that had me make a list, like make a list of all the things that you do all week. He had made this long list. And then he had me rank the ones that give me joy
Yeah.
and the
That
ones
energize you, right? Yeah.
exactly, and rank the ones that drain me. And then he had me come up with a plan for everyone that drains me on how to get it off my list. And it's costly, but they do the job better than I do, and it brings them joy. So let me give that to them, and then let me do the things that actually bring me joy.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that a leader has to do, is go out there and find the people who are better than them at the role or the function that they don't enjoy, or that saps the energy out of them.
Yeah.
And the people who know how to take it sort of 2 years into the future.
Exactly.
Because that's where the growth is going to come from, right?
And the peace for yourself, right? I mean, it's a win-win-win. Like you are offering employment to someone who is qualified. They love doing this. You don't love doing this. I mean, your team is gonna. My team loves working with my marketing managers so much more than they love working with me. Let me give this gift to them, And so when you start thinking about that, it's worth every penny.
Yeah. So what's some advice you would give to the entrepreneurs that you're working with at the moment? It's interesting that you're working with these young folks.
Yeah.
What are you telling with them right now?
I have so many pieces of advice. I feel like an old woman. I have so many. I have been through it, John. I have been through it. I love every minute of it, even the hard times. My first piece of advice is to make yourself and your spirituality a priority. It's my first piece of advice. So, you look at your calendar, you see all the meetings on there, right? And I love to say that if it's not on your calendar, it's not a priority. So I put my meditation, my prayer time, my date nights, my yoga, my book club with my family. Yes, we have a book club.
Love it. Yeah.
Yes, I put my small group at church. I put all those things that fuel me, my walks in the garden, all that's on my calendar, and those are non-negotiables. Those are on my calendar first, and then you weave in the meetings. And I have an assistant who is amazing, and I take the evening or the afternoon of the 8th, which is my birthday is September the 8th. I take the afternoon of the 8th off every month. And she won't let me book a meeting in there.
That's brilliant.
She booked a massage or my nails done on there. And so making yourself a priority, because if you don't do it, no one else is going to do it. So that's my first piece of advice. Because you'll look up and your nails will never be done. They will never be done. Okay. And your health will be all out of whack because you're never going to the gym. So all that should be on the calendar. Likewise, getting good sleep. And there are things that we know to do already. None of them are revolutionary, but getting your sleep. We all know that if you don't get good sleep, you don't make good decisions. And so you have to. I put my bedtime on my calendar also. I start winding down every night at 8:00. Because if I'm not fresh in the morning, I'm not good for anybody else. So those things are super important. Then the next thing is being lock and loaded on your business values. Lock and loaded on your business values. Revenue should not be a business value. That's not a business value. Find what breaks your heart and do that. And then, as part of my daily routine every morning, I list what I'm grateful for. And I do that every morning. And that's so important because if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you're doing is looking at emails and social media, you're really allowing someone else to shape your day. You know, you wake up in the morning and I love a gratitude list so much because it's like a snowball effect. I've had days like everyone else where it's hard for me to come up with that first thing that I'm grateful for. Like when things are just going to hell in a handbasket, it's hard to come up with that first thing you're grateful for. But when you come up with that first thing, it's a little easier to come up with that second thing. The next thing you know, you're just writing. You're just writing. You're
Yeah.
just writing. And it completely changes the trajectory of your day. So those are the three things that I encourage entrepreneurs to do: make themselves and their spirituality a priority, to get locked and loaded on their values, and to write that gratitude list first thing in the morning.
Love it. You know, we often look at the business and the operating system in the business, but there's also this kind of nervous system. And as a leader, as a business owner, you need to make sure that both of those systems are working optimally. And I think that the things that you've just talked about right now are really what, important for that nervous system to make sure that the two are working in unison. And
it's so
otherwise,
it's so burnout every single time. And then you're no good for anyone, not good for your team, not good for your community, not good for your family, not good for yourself. Everything goes down quickly. I am speaking from experience here. So it's really easy to get caught up in the rat race and to forget about yourself, your husband, your wife, your partner.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen you in days and weeks. When's the last time you showered? I mean, all these things can really happen as an entrepreneur really, really easily. And I believe in the Franklin Covey big rocks.
Yeah.
You put the big rocks in and the small rocks in, but the other way it doesn't work. And so you put your emails, the social posts, all of that crap in first, then you find there you go. You're all out of whack.
So have you got time, Adria, for some quick fire questions?
Sure, let's go.
Okay, so what's one book that that's really influenced your leadership style?
Can I do a shameless plug for my own book? May I?
Go for it. You got one on productivity, or has that come out?
I did.
Yes.
So I released a book, and the reason I give myself, so the book is called Unstoppable, because I believe that I am. I believe that you are also. And the reason I recommend this book strongly is because as I was editing it, and for the final round, I was going through a rough time, and I found myself preaching to myself, and I'm like, I should be doing these things. So I really feel like it's super, super, super helpful. Another book that I strongly recommend is Atomic Habits.
Oh yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Make sure to read your book as well. Thank you very much for that recommendation.
Absolutely.
How about a leader that you look up to?
Oh my goodness. I look up to my pastor a lot.
Yeah.
So I go to Decatur City Church, was one of these satellite churches of North Point Community Church, and Andy Stanley is our pastor. And I really admire the way that he moves without judgment and with a lot of empathy. And he's very organized and very open and transparent. And that's the kind of leader that I want to be.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about a all-time favorite movie?
Oh, The Princess Bride.
Oh yes, brilliant movie. Yeah. We were watching. I think we rewatched Devil Loves Prada or something the other night. But yeah, that's Princess Bride, another great one, right?
Absolutely.
And a favorite TV series that binge watch too?
Oh my goodness. Me and my husband right now, we're watching some series. I can't remember the name of it, but I think we love Mad Men a lot.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Yes. John Hamm, he's so good, and yeah,
so good. Also, I play chess, and so it's more of a movie series. But I love the Queen's Gambit. I watched it again over the weekend. I love to watch the Queen's Gambit while I'm playing chess. Actually.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, my last question was, what's something that not many people know about you, and I guess that could be one, right?
Yeah, I actually have on my vision board, one of my goals is to be an international master. So we'll see if that happens. Yeah.
I think if anybody can get there, that would be you. But I mean, for me, reflecting on our conversation today, I mean, I've got a whole load of notes here, but one note that stood out was making yourself a priority and your spirituality. And I think talking about nervous systems and that is just so important. The other thing I loved was how you folks track social impact, and we get into tracking numbers all the time and metrics, but there's some really important numbers there that align back to our purpose and our values. And I think that's something that other entrepreneurs could be looking at. And then embracing everything that happens to you as a moment to learn. You've taken a learning, and I'm sure there's many of them, but when you went to folks to help you produce your product, and you're now helping other people to kind of navigate that. And then I love the comment about a CEO as a project manager as well. By definition, we always are fighting for resources and time and all those kind of things. So thank you so much. Some real nuggets in there.
Awesome.
And
thank you so much.
I really appreciate your time. It's been lovely spending time with you today.
Same, it's been a fantastic conversation. I really appreciate it.
And thanks for listening to this episode of the Growing with Purpose podcast. If you're enjoying the show, then please give us a rating on Apple or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And to learn more about purpose-driven leadership, go over to smallgiants.org or follow us on social media. Until next time.